Hi. Our directed exercise this week and practice that we're focusing on, practice of prayer and worship, is that of redemptive solitude. It's one that I need desperately, and I know most of you need it as well. And that's where we go and we commune with the Father, and we have time to sit and reflect and just to be with Him. I'm going to be asking you to take time off. No, it's an assignment, so you need to do this. And it's a good excuse to take some time away and to be alone with the Father. So I'm going to be asking you to find a place where you can be in solitude. You can go and be by yourself. When I teach the course in Pasadena, we go to the Arboretum in Arcadia. If you're in the area, I've given you the address there. And go and sit and reflect with the Lord. Let's think a little bit together about this redemptive solitude that I'm encouraging you and asking you to do. One of the rare but powerful items of discipleship is the requirement that the recruit of Christ's company, according to Elton Trueblood, takes a personal experience of solitude at least once a month. So there's a time, this is one of the rhythms of rest that we talk about throughout this course. And so once a month, it's encouraged that we take an extended period of time. And this is patterned after the experience of Christ, where we see throughout the scriptures that he would periodically draw away from the huge crowds who are clamoring all around him and wanting his attention in order to be alone with God, to be self-nourishing, to sit and reflect and be in fellowship with God. It was indeed, as Elton Trueblood says, at the price of temporary separation from the needs of people, knowing that it's important so that we can be worthy of ministering. We can have that inner strength and rest and calm that allows us to minister effectively. And it's not a matter of being alone to be selfish, but rather the Trueblood tells us the justification of aloneness is not that of refined self-indulgence, but rather a consequent enrichment of one's subsequent contribution. It makes us deeper in the Lord. It gives us strength. It energizes us. So what am I going to ask you to do? We're going to ask you to practice redemptive solitude in the way that people, the church father, Clement of Alexandria, has defined it. He says that prayer is companionship with God. So walking with God, being aware of his presence, this is something that allows us to do that. A more contemporary definition of prayer is someone you are with, not something you do. In our heightened 21st century, and in the Western world especially, we are just all about, what are you doing? What are you doing? We have to be busy. No, this is telling us to draw back and not be only about activity, but about rest, or taking that activity and just letting the activity be one of stillness and allowing ourselves to draw close to God and to hearing his presence, hearing from him. Well, how are we to do that? I'd like to give you some suggestions. And in the module this week, you'll find a file on extended personal time. And among them are these 8 or 9 suggestions. First of all, find a time and place. Often you want it to be a regular time and place. That's important. Spend the time with the Lord in whatever way God knows that you need. This can vary. It doesn't have to be a set form. It's about a period of time as a space, an area, an arena in which you can enjoy being in the presence of God. You want to be someplace where you can deal with internal distractions, allow them to be cleared out, and you should bring whatever helps you spend time with God. It could be journals, it could be drawings, it could be watercolors. There's all sorts of different ways that we can enjoy our time with the Lord. You might want to get out. I enjoy being outdoors. I like just seeing beauty and observing beauty. My favorite thing is to go to the beach and watch the waves and watch the seagulls and consider God in the midst of that. So perhaps hike and enjoy the outdoors. Use some of your time with God for silence, just to listen. This is related again to the centering prayer that we've talked about previously. And I love this advice. If you become drowsy, let God give you a nap. It's exactly what you need. Also, there's a good suggestion if you're going for a run or something like that. Bring a friend and debrief about your experience with that friend and what you heard from the Lord. And let that be an either further enriching of your relationship with God and with someone close to you. So go out, take 2 hours, and be with the Lord. Find a place that stimulates you in hearing from Him and in allowing Him to love you in a very real way. Thanks. That's all for now.